Hi, I'm Mease, and I'd like to share the story of how God changed my life. When I was a teenager, I made a lot of poor choices. I quit school and I ran away from home and moved to the city, and I really had no room for God in my life. When I was 20, I ran even further. I left the state with a friend who was in trouble with the law. I got married and had a baby, and I thought my life was pretty good. And then I was 23 years old, Lindsay was 15 months, and I was arrested, and I was charged with aiding and abetting a fugitive. And I was going to jail, and she was going to a foster home. And I remember how bad I felt when they took her, when the social worker took her, and I felt like I'd let her down, and I felt like I'd let my parents down, and I wondered how they would ever forgive me. I was all alone, 1,000 miles away from home, and I prayed. And I prayed for Lindsay, and I prayed for me. And I spent 2 weeks in jail before they let me go. And I went home after that, but I always felt like because of the things I'd done, God would never love me. And I thought that I would get paid back for the things that I had done to my parents. But at every turn in my life, God's goodness and grace have shown through by the people that He placed in my life. I did come to realize that it doesn't matter where your inadequacies come from, because God's grace is greater than all of them. One day, while driving in the car, Lindsay asked me what my definition of a Christian was. And I thought to myself, oh, that is easy. A Christian is a person who believes in God. And she was quiet for a minute, and she said, Satan believes in God. And that got my attention. She was 13, and she'd been going to church with her friends for a few years. I couldn't get that conversation out of my head. And I started going to church. At first, just to hear the kids give their testimonies after camp. And then I started going on Sundays. And that fall, on September 7th, 1997, I accepted Jesus as my personal Savior. And the following Sunday, Lindsay and I were both baptized on her 14th birthday. God's love is unconditional. He loved me while I was a sinner and rebelling and running away. And there was certainly nothing I did to earn it. It's more than just believing in God. I was dead in my sins. And I believe that God sent Jesus Christ to die on the cross for those sins. I've been loved by a lot of people, and I think that's awesome. But the love that I know God has for me is so different. It has brought me life. And no matter where I go or what I'm caused to walk through, the foundation and the certainty of God's love is all I need to sustain me.